The tires of my silver SUV crunched against the gravel, but something felt wrong. As I rounded the final bend of Maplewood Lane, my heart stopped. Where golden wheat fields once danced in the breeze, a monstrous 3-story hotel now loomed, its glass windows glinting like predatory eyes. I slammed on the brakes, my knuckles white against the steering wheel. This was my family's farm, passed down through 4 generations, each acre a sacred piece of our history. Now it was gone, replaced by concrete, manicured lawns, and a sprawling parking lot. Yellow construction barriers swarmed with workers in hard hats, moving like ants over what used to be my land. I'd been gone just a month, called away for a critical consulting job in Singapore to keep our family afloat. My wife, Laura, and I had planned everything meticulously, or so we thought. Stepping out of the car, my legs wobbled. A worker approached, clipboard in hand. "Can I help you?" he asked, eyeing me cautiously. "This is my land," I said, my voice steady but laced with fury. "I'm James Carter." His face paled. "You're the owner?" Before I could press him, my phone buzzed. Laura, texting, "James, emergency. Call me now." But my eyes were locked on the hotel, a grotesque monument to someone's audacity. A sign near the entrance read, "Maplewood Community Development, approved by HOA Board, Diane Mitchell, Project Director." Diane. The HOA president, who'd always despised our farm, calling it an eyesore, with its unkempt fences. She'd sent countless letters about grass height, but this? This was war. A stack of permits on a nearby table caught my eye. I scanned them, zoning approvals, construction orders, and a cryptic note about community enhancement zones. It wasn't outright illegal, but it reeked of manipulation. The workers shifted nervously. "Sir, you can't be here." I flashed a cold smile. "I'm leaving. For now." Driving to town, my mind raced. How had Diane pulled this off? What legal tricks had she used? At a coffee shop, I scribbled notes, dates, questions, plans. This wasn't just about land, it was about justice, about defending a legacy. The waitress refilled my cup. "Rough day?" she asked. "Just getting started," I replied, my resolve hardening. Diane had no idea what was coming. In the barn, dust motes danced in slanted sunlight as I pulled open a rusty file cabinet. My grandfather's legacy lay inside, yellowed documents, property maps, and legal records he'd preserved with obsessive care. "Knowledge is your weapon," he'd said, his calloused hands pointing to these very papers. Now they were my arsenal. A 1954 property map showed our farm's exact boundaries, notarized and ironclad. Old HOA meeting minutes revealed Diane's predecessors pulling similar stunts, claiming abandoned land for community good. A faded envelope held letters from a 1970s dispute where someone had stopped the HOA's land grab. The how was detailed in the precise script, a land trust, a legal fortress most wouldn't understand. I snapped photos, my hands steady but my pulse racing. Laura would help me connect the dots, she always saw what I missed. Gravel crunched outside. Through the barn's window, I saw a white SUV with HOA stickers. Diane stepped out, her designer sunglasses flashing, her heels sinking into the soil where my wheat once grew. She scribbled on a clipboard, inspecting my land like she owned it. My phone buzzed, my lawyer, Tom, found something big. "Call me." I stayed hidden, watching her. Patience, I reminded myself, was a strategy. Diane drove off, leaving dust and defiance in her wake. This wasn't just a fight, it was a battlefield. The community center buzzed with tension as I entered, my briefcase heavy with evidence. Diane sat at the head of the table, her polished blazer a mask of control. She'd bullied neighbors for years, her fake smiles hiding a ruthless streak. I'd seen her corner people at meetings, twisting rules to her will. "Not today. I'd like to discuss the hotel on my family's land," I began, my voice cutting through the whispers. The room stilled. I spread out my grandfather's maps, showing boundaries predating the HOA. These prove the land was never transferable without my consent. Diane's eyebrow twitched, a crack in her facade. I laid out photos of the farm's history, crop rotations, maintenance logs, proof of our care. Each image was a dagger. A woman in the back, Helen, leaned forward, her face shifting from curiosity to concern. Diane tried to interrupt. Mr. Carter, this is... I'm not done, I said, my tone ice cold. I revealed an environmental report I'd commissioned privately. The hotel's construction had disrupted drainage, risking local water sources, and violated county soil guidelines. Gasps rippled through the room. Helen raised her hand. Can you explain the environmental impact? I broke it down, simple and clear, watching the board squirm. A young member, Ethan, spoke up. We have questions about these documents. Questions meant they were listening. For an hour, I dismantled Diane's case. Maps, photos, legal clauses. The room crackled with doubt. Diane's confidence crumbled, her silence deafening. As we left, Helen whispered, Those environmental issues are serious. The board didn't know. Outside, Diane's glare burned with fury. She knew I wouldn't stop. This wasn't just about land, it was about exposing her. Old Mr. Larson, our neighbor, arrived after breakfast, his hands shaking as he handed me a manila envelope. You need this, he whispered. Inside were photos and notes exposing Diane's decades-long land grabs, manipulated permits, backdoor deals, all under community improvement. Laura squeezed my shoulder. What's the plan? These are her playbook, I said, spreading the papers. An aerial photo from the 1990s showed Diane's family property with misdrawn boundaries, shady, if not illegal. Mr. Larson sighed. She's been at this for years. No one dared fight her. A young woman passed our window, glancing nervously. I'd seen her at HOA meetings. She hesitated, then hurried off. Mr. Larson lowered his voice. Some folks oppose Diane, but they're scared. She ruins lives. My phone rang, an unknown number. Laura answered, her face tightening. Someone wants to meet you, she said. They know about Diane's past. The documents were dynamite, but one wrong move could let Diane discredit us. As Mr. Larson left, a paper slipped from his jacket, another clue. The fight was heating up. Tom's office was a war room of maps and records. These boundaries are a mess, he muttered, aligning 3 maps from different decades. Tiny shifts in property lines emerged, sloppy work that the HOA hadn't noticed. They didn't do their homework. Tom grinned. A historical society email pinged, found 1940s land use records. Significant. Laura brought a box from the attic, more of my grandmother's records, surveys, tax logs, letters. Game changers, Tom said, his eyes gleaming. The county archives called next, uncovering a bombshell. The hotel sat on protected wetlands. Diane's empire was built on quicksand. They underestimated us, I said, staring at the fields. Their biggest mistake. The attic was a treasure trove. Laura lifted a wooden box, its hinges creaking. Inside, my grandfather's documents wove a tapestry of resistance. A 1973 land trust letter, a coded family tree linking our land to others, a sealed envelope with a wax crest. His script warned of a trust activating if the land was threatened, exactly like now. He knew, I whispered. Aerial photos showed boundary shifts over decades, one implicating Diane's family. A text from an unknown number chilled me. Some secrets stay buried. The stakes skyrocketed. The Maplewood Gazette ran our story, igniting a firestorm. Diane called, venom in her voice. You think you can ruin me? I stayed calm. I'm protecting what's mine. Coffee shops buzzed with neighbors' stories of Diane's bullying. A TV reporter, Emily, broadcast outside our farm. A family fights an HOA's illegal land grab. Diane's emergency meeting backfired. My evidence, live streamed by our daughter, Sophie, swayed the crowd. A realtor whispered, I always suspected her. By night, regional news and property rights groups amplified our fight. Diane's legal threats were hollow. As sunset bathed the farm, I told a state reporter, "We're ready." The battle was just beginning. In court, tension crackled. Judge Margaret Cole, a no-nonsense veteran, eyed the evidence. Tom's closing argument was surgical. "This is systemic abuse." He presented emails proving Diane's backdoor deals and wetland violations. An environmentalist testified to ecosystem damage, rare plants, tainted water. An HOA member broke ranks, admitting Diane acted alone. Diane's composure shattered, sweat beading as her lawyer floundered. Judge Cole's ruling was swift. The hotel was illegal, the land ours. The courtroom erupted. The farm healed, wheat sprouting where concrete once stood. Diane's network collapsed, council members resigned, investigations widened. She appealed, but we were ready. The farm was more than land, it was a testament to fighting corruption. Neighbors rallied, inspired. As a hawk soared above, Laura whispered, "We did it." But was it over? Diane's final glare hinted at more. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments. Did James and Laura go too far, or was their fight justified? Let's debate the ethics of standing up to bullies like Diane. Smash that like button, subscribe, and join the conversation.